I tell you what, the fishing of late has been awful. I can't cope with it, I tell you. So I'm sacking the UK off. You guessed it, we're on another adventure. This really is a question of how far will I go to stop blanking? And the answer to that is halfway across the world. We're going to Japan.
After the customary full English breakfast at the airport, I sat down and played a bit of Football Manager and watched my beloved Everton lose to West Ham in the Cup. Absolute shocker. Amsterdam was our connecting airport and we sat down in the lounge for 4 hours before hopping on the flight to Japan. The flight to Japan is 14 hours, which is one hell of a long flight, but we got through it and we touched down in Tokyo. However, that wasn't the end of the fly-in. We had one more flight to go, which took us up right into the north of the country. And finally, we touched down on the beautiful island of Hokkaido.
We need more of these in the UK. Nothing wrong with a bit of support when you're doing a wee, is there? Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. So folks, we've made it. We're here in Hokkaido and this is the second largest island here in Japan. It's right in the north and it pretty much borders up towards Russia, which is absolutely mad. We're currently in Sapporo, which is the capital city of Hokkaido, up in the north. And it's mental, it hosted the Olympics. We are in fact actually on a ski jump looking out over the city. It's pretty bloody mad, right? But anyway, what are we going to be doing here in Japan? Well, we're going to be doing a hell of a lot of stuff. This is our first port of call and this will be the first part of the trip. We're here for roughly about 7 days and what we're doing is we're going to go and discover the snow, discover the mountains and see what's crack-a-lacking up here. And then, the final bit of the puzzle, I'm hoping to be doing a little bit of fishing. Who knows how it's going to go? It's currently -3 and it's snowing. Look at it, it's not going to be the greatest fishing weather, but you've got to be in it to win it and you've got to give it a go. Let's get on with it and let's see this awesome, awesome city. Currently at the ski jump and I'm here with my best mate, a really good ski jumper called Ryo Kiyashi. I'm having a great time, but I'm actually here with a really good friend of mine. And that good friend is Sarah. She's over there somewhere. There she is, where is she? Where is she? There she is. Sarah's been a good friend of mine for many years, so it's awesome to be coming on a mega trip like this with her. You ready, Sarah?
Oh yeah.
Buzzing. And by the way guys, here in Japan it is not compulsory to wear a mask, but you pretty much have to wear one. We are working our way back down now on these chairlifts and I have to admit I am petrified of this type of stuff. I hate heights, especially when there's not really a railing to protect you. But hey ho, what can we do? We are on our way back into the city now and we're going to try and have a little bit of an explore. Hokkaido is a little bit of a niche part of Japan. It was the last part to really become formally part of Japan as we know, and it was in the 19th century. And safe to say, you do really get that feel from all accounts. It is very different to the mainland and very different to sort of the other islands further down south as well. But that might be mainly because of the temperature, right? Like, honestly, look at the amount of snow. Like, this is nuts. Like, look, it's up to here on me. Beautiful.
I always like to spend the first day walking around the city. It's a great way to see the sights at a brief glance, but also to help you accustom to your new surroundings. We ventured through the snowy streets down to the city centre, where we discovered the hustle and bustle of day-to-day life. The streets were lined with various eateries, offering various options to the hearty food lover. It even catered to those with a more artistic palette, with some stunning phallic-like sculptures. When the cold got too much, we took shelter in a curry house where we got straight on with eating a Japanese favourite, katsu curry.
Bask, what are you drinking?
I
nice coffee. Curry and coffee. Never okay.
Sarah's beverage wasn't the only weird thing we stumbled upon, however. Has anyone seen an adult toy claw machine before? Because I haven't.
Well, after a long day of walking around the city, what do you need? A beer. And this is probably a beer you guys all recognise. Happy bloody days. Anyway, we're probably going to leave it here until tomorrow when we're going to get out of the city and into this beautiful island. That's the main reason why we've come here, really, to be fair. It is a really, really beautiful part of the world and I'm so excited to see it.
Well folks, I won't lie to you whatsoever, I'm absolutely hanging. That got well out of hand, absolutely well out of hand. However, I'm out for a little wander today trying to pull myself together. And of course, we've stumbled on a tackle shop. And this is called Tackleberry. No idea what to expect in here, but this is my first Japanese tackle shop. Let's see what's in here. I'm also hoping for a bit of intel on the fishing scene. Well, let's rock and roll. So I'm just having a little wander around, and this is a cool little section. A used fishing tackle section. This is something I think we need to see a little bit more of. But these are actually lures. Oh, look at this, it's mad. Used fishing lures. You know they work. Sort of. There's some seriously cool stuff though. Look at these. It's edgy. It's very, very trout focused. And it's flipping class, isn't it? I know I'm going to be picking a few of these bad boys up. These are so good. Folks, I wasn't allowed to film in the shop and there was no English spoken, so that was quite fun finding somewhere to fish. However, this is what I love about fishing. It doesn't matter if you don't speak the same language. There is one language and that is fishing. And he has put me on some marks and he said that I should catch some brown trout and maybe some other different types of trout as well. It was a little bit of a tough experience and I wish I could have shown it you because it was quite funny. Me just doing everything I could like a bumbling idiot. But he was super helpful. We got there with Google Translate and he's put me on some fish. But I'll tell you what, I think I need some paracetamol. Ooh. Yeah, not ideal.
We're all recovered. Safe to say I needed a KFC and a bit of a kick up the arse, and now we're on the river and I cannot wait to go fishing. This is going to be my first cast here in Japan, so I'm so excited to see what the crack is. So which river are we actually fishing? Well, I'm on the Toyahira River. It's roughly about 70 miles long and it comes from the mountains far up above the city and drops down into the city and into the ocean, which isn't far from here. So I'm hoping maybe to stumble on a few trout. I've heard there are a decent few in here. And I think there might be a few species where I'm going to have to play it by ear and figure it out. But that's the joy of going fishing in somewhere you've never been, right? Let's get fishing. I've not travelled halfway around the world to not fish. And I'm so sorry about the echo. Didn't realise that until I've stopped recording. Brill. Hello. We're on the Fish Rig 180 today. What an absolute belter from Rigged and Ready. I need to give Rigged and Ready a massive shout out and a massive thank you. They have sorted me out on these trips and they have again here in Japan. I'm taking the Fish Rig to start with, but I do have their brand new release with me on this trip. The ultimate travel rod, I promise you that. I'm sure you'll see it later in the series, but you might even see it soon in this episode. I'm gonna go with this guy to start with. It's a cool little sinking lure, Rapala style. I got it in the tackle shop. It was a bit of a trade. I bought this for some information. It's what you've got to do in the game. First cast in bloody Japan. I'll be damned. I'll be honest though, I don't really know what to expect from this. I'm sort of a bit like, I don't think we'll catch anything, but you also never know, do you? But I just thought I'd get out, have a couple of casts, warm myself into the environment. Not really warm, but cool myself into the environment. And just give it a little go. Some fly life about though. Look at that. Now you actually don't need a license specifically to fish in Japan, but a lot of rivers and places like rivers, lakes, they typically have permits, especially when you get into the south of the country. Whereas here in Hokkaido, most of the rivers are pretty wild, so you can fish as you like in truth. However, what you do have to bear in mind is
you cannot salmon fish on your life. Don't even bother unless you're with someone. Hokkaido is one of the only places where you can salmon fish in Japan. In the majority of the country, in the vast majority of the country anyway, it's absolutely no. Well, this is fishy related, and I can see a salmon on there, which concerns me. This might be a do not fish here. There are salmon. And that means I have to run. So, Google Translate and have a deco. So this is pretty much telling us about how salmon spawn here and they run up this river, which is absolutely great. However, I'm not 100% sure if that means I can fish or not. I'm not targeting them whatsoever, so I am going to just sort of go with it. But I do know there are the certain rivers where you just simply can't fish them because there's salmon in them. So, it's a funny one, isn't it? But to be fair, let's just have a quick cast. There was no expectations from this. It really was just to have my first throw in Japan. We'll have a little wander up, we'll have a couple of casts, and then we'll get excited and get ready for tomorrow, I think. We've just dropped into this really cool spot with some fast running water up there, another little bit of an inflow, and it sort of comes into this deep pool here underneath this bridge. If there's going to be a trout about, you'd think he'd be in here, right? Also, trout about like that. I had a little switch up on the lure, and I've just put a Fox micro shad on, like one of those things with the little bumps on, because I'm just going to bounce it along the bottom. I think it might be the best option today. First couple of days in Hokkaido, and it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to getting out into the countryside though. I'm a country boy, not a city slicker. I'm keen to go and experience the mountains and see all the wonderful wildlife. There is in fact bears. That sort of proves how wild it is really. There's roughly about 5 million people, and the vast majority of those people live in Sapporo. So it's a very big island with quite a low density of population. And with the populations being densely sort of located in one area, it means there's plenty of wild places. And I think once we get up into the mountains and fish in some road rivers, we'll start catching a few nice fish, I think.
I'll be truthful with you, the hangover's proper kicking in. I'm absolutely starving and I'm knackered. So what I think we're going to do, we're going to call it a day here and then probably go get some food. I am excited to show you where we're going though, because this is a really cool little place. We are literally just outside of Ganso Sapporo Ramen which is pretty much Ramen Alley. Now, I have been buzzing to go here, being a bit of a ramen fanatic, as it's actually home to the miso ramen, which is the Sapporo ramen. It's a really tiny alley with 17 ramen restaurants in it, and this is actually where miso ramen came from. It was in something like 1953, 1954, something like that. But it's a pretty cool place anyway, and we're gonna go and have a little deco and get something to eat. I think I'm definitely gonna go full Sapporo on this and get a Sapporo ramen and a Sapporo beer. Juicy, innit? Oh, come on, let's get feeding. I'm starving, man.
Ramen Alley was founded in 1948 with only 8 shops. Now it's grown substantially and is popular with tourists and locals alike. The rumour is Sapporo Ramen was founded through a drunk lad asking for noodles to be dropped into his miso soup. I hope that's true. Cheers, sir. Cheers.
And here we go, guys. Miso ramen. Infamous to Sapporo, or Sapporo ramen, basically. Oh my god, it smells so nice. And we've got pork, noodles in there. These are cooked in really large quantities of water, so they're extra soft and easy to eat. I'm still going to be an absolute fail with chopsticks. I've been here a few days now and still struggling. I do try at home though, I practice, but it's just not natural.
Practicing hard. Yeah. Practice makes perfect. Remember that.
Ramen Alley has not disappointed. That was by far the best ramen I've ever had. Probably the best meal I've ever had even. Oh my god, get yourself on the miso, people. But that's filled me up. We've got a busy plan for tomorrow. Oh, it's rocking down here, isn't it? This is what you love to see. Loads of noises, loads going on. But right, let's get back. Bit of an early night. We've got some serious stuff to do tomorrow. Well folks, I promised you mountains, and here we are. What an unbelievable backdrop this is behind me. I'm kidding you not, it's just mountains, snow, and crystal blue water. I'm on the edge of Lake Shikotsu at the moment, which is absolutely stunning. And this is the headquarters of one of the main rivers here in Hokkaido. That river is the Shikotsu River, and this is what we're going to be fishing today, and we're hoping to catch a couple of brown trout. I've got the rods with me, I've got some lure bits, and I'm just going to lob it out and see what we can catch. When the temperature's like this, it is going to be proper tough, it's inevitable. But when you're fishing in a location like this, does it really matter? No, not one bit. I am literally here to be fishing behind that bad boy. The great thing about Japan is the public transport is out of this world. So I haven't got a car here, so I'm sort of having to use the public transport and do what I can. And to be fair, I've got here. I set off early, it's taken about a couple of hours, and that was with a few absolute balls up from me missing buses and missing trains. But we still got here. But right, let's have a little explore, and then let's get the rods out. A little fun fact for you, it's not actually that high up. Because we're so close to Siberia, it is that bloody cold. So Sarah's skiing today, right, and the elevation required to go skiing is about 400 metres here. If you're in the Alps, it's always probably upwards of 1,500. It's absolutely mad.
So this isn't why I came, but it's one of the real reasons why so many people come here. It's for the ice sculptures and the ice festival. Sadly, it's now gone. The area's closed, but you can see the remnants of it. How cool does this look, man? Hello. What's that lad doing? He looks a bit like a duckling, but he's bombing it. Look at him go!
Look at the snow on the shelter. That's like easy 3 foot. Easy. I tell you what folks, this is pretty special. Like, I can't get over it. I'm not sure how well you can see it behind me there, but it's just beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. And this blanket of snow just makes it that little bit better. But what I do love about the snow is being able to see all the animal tracks. You can pretty much see everything, and there's so many deer tracks, it's out of this world. When we were driving up here, I saw so many. So I'm quite excited to see if we'll see one on the bank. That'll be pretty cool. There are bears too, so I do have to be careful of that, but they've got to be hibernating, right? It's flipping -3. Oh my God, speak of the devil, there's a deer. I've literally had to spin that round. Look at him! No words. I just said, oh, am I going to see one on the bank? And then literally, there's 2 right next to me. Wow. I tell you what, that is one thing I'll never get bored of. It's just seeing wildlife like that doing its thing. Epic. Absolutely mega. But right, let's get on the river. Let's get fishing. Right, so it looks like only deer have gone through here. And they're a little bit more dainty than me, so this could be quite troublesome. There we go, we're rocking. Just got to smash through it, haven't you? Bloody Laura. Don't do my ankle, Harry, don't do your ankle. That way. Definitely that way. Whoa. Jeez. Oh yeah, right boy. Yes. We are fishing and there's loads of feature going on here. We got a bridge there, jetty, boat. There's 2 main species we're after here. The brown trout and the yatambi trout. The yatambi trout is native to Japan, and I think it is more a summer fish, to be honest, but from all accounts you can still catch them in winter if you're a bit lucky. And it's the same with the trout as well. So drop this in amongst all the crevices. Hopefully we'll catch one. We're going to start with the micro jig, I think. Keep it deep as possible. And we're going to walk along these really slippy rocks. Right, let's do it.
It is tough when it's this cold and everything's freezing. There isn't much you can do. You've just got to get with it, get going. This reminds me of being in Sweden, fishing for Arctic char in the Arctic Circle, and it was the toughest fishing ever. So the main reason why this river was suggested to me is because it doesn't freeze. And with that fact it doesn't freeze, it means you can fish it all year round. However, from all my research, everything, I mean, just because you can fish it doesn't mean that you're going to catch a fish. But if we do manage to stumble on one in one of the holes, I think he will take a dibble on this, for sure. Don't know why he wouldn't. Fish. Down there, by that bridge. Right, let's go. Wasn't big, it was defo a trout. Can't believe there's trout jumping in whatever temperature this is, but still. Let's flip and go. Go, go, go. Oh no, I think it might have been a bird, and it was a diving bird. If that is the case, there could be small fish there. Bet you assume this is a cold drink, don't you? It's not, it's warm. Got it in a vending machine. It's like orange tea. Not complaining, and it warms the hands up. Whew. Well, I'm walking through a bit of a blizzard right now, and I'm going to be truthful, this is proving beyond difficult. It's more just getting down to the water. Like, it's a sheer drop full of snow. You just don't know if where you're stepping is sound. You could just go. And off camera that did happen, I'll be honest with you, and I got very much away with it because I didn't hurt myself, but that could have gone very bad very quick. And that is the thing, you've got to be careful, because let's be honest, you don't want to be using your travel insurance, do you? Like, that's just a problem for everyone. At this rate, I might be heading to an onsen, which is a hot bath. Bollock naked. I don't know yet, but dear o'clock. Tell you what, we gave that a really good few hours and it really started to plough down. Like, you can still see it now. It's absolutely mad. So I'm not really sure what my plan of action is, to be fair. I did know the fishing was going to be so freaking tough here. It was inevitable, and I sort of knew I'd really start hitting the fish when we move further south. But it's just cool being here. It's cool just walking around somewhere like this in the snow, to be honest. But that is fishing. You can't catch every time, can you? Otherwise it ain't fishing, it's catching. Classic cliche, that one, wasn't it? We might not have caught a fish, but we've seen one. And this bad boy is the kokani. And this was introduced into the lake in 1894, and it's actually a landlocked salmon. Now, the populations are so low, so they are introducing them through hatcheries, and they've been doing that for quite a long time. And yeah, and they're just releasing them as they go and hoping to replenish the stocks. By the way, that's a Japanese dace, that one. That's quite cool. But they look like rainbow trout, don't they? And this colouring, so when they start to spawn, they do the classic salmon colouring and they go bright red, pink, all those beautiful colours. But it's absolutely wicked. Although, there's quite a lot of fish in here. But quite a small tank. Cultural differences, I'm not overly keen on it, but it's nice just to see a fish. And look at him down there. That's a she, I think, actually. That's got to be a male. With that snipe, that's got to be a male. But saying that, it could be the fact it's a hatchery fish. I don't know. I'll be truthful, I'm preferring this guy. It's like a barbel and a dace combined, isn't it? And actually, that's called an ezugi. Cool name. It's not just fish. Look at that guy! That's an ezo salamander. Eat your heart out, Jeremy Wade. I can do what you can do, mate. Easy as that. Didn't take me 4 months, like. Took me 3 days. Lake Shikotsu is actually part of a larger national park. It's part of the Shikotsu Toya National Park, which covers quite a wide area, which is roughly about 100,000 hectares, which is absolutely mad. I think it's the 4th largest in Japan. Correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. I'm normally pretty wrong, but it's pretty cool. And the reason sort of why it's a big national park is because there's a few active volcanoes in the area. I did want to go and have a gamble on them, but in the winter, you just simply can't get up them. It's just too dangerous. However, it does mean that there's geothermal spas knocking about. Now, I am a fan of a geothermal spa. I've done this in Iceland before and it's pretty cool. It smells like sulphur and egg, and basically it's like bubbling hot water coming up from the earth, and it's warm because of all the volcanic activity. It's roughly about 37, 40 degrees, and it's got loads of healing potential and loads of sort of minerals that are really good for your body, apparently. So I'm going to go and give that a go. I'm going to go and have a look. However, the little side point with this is, and now this wasn't the case in Iceland, but it is the case in Japan, you got to be bollock naked. So I don't think I'll be recording this. So you're not actually going to see what's happened. You might do though. I don't know. You might get a little changing room shot if you're really lucky. Anyway, I'm interested to go and see it, and I feel like it's something you have to do when you come to Japan. But come on, I'm going to go and give it a deco. I've got a few hours till the bus, so let's relax. Beautiful. Well, we found the onsen. I'm just about to go in, and that's the size of the towel. I'm getting me knob out. I'm not comfortable with that. But right, here we go. At least it was with a load of blokes. We're doing it, guys. This is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. And don't comment on how skinny I am. This is one of a kind. It's a bit Dominic Calvert-Lewin though, isn't it? That was an experience, wasn't it? I tell you what, I feel absolutely amazing. That was absolutely mega. These geothermal spas are full of sulphur and it's so good for your skin. But safe to say, I've never been pretty much in a bath with 5 naked men before. And surprisingly, it felt rather comfortable. Genuinely, I highly recommend that if you're in Japan. You've got to do it. It's a big part of the culture. And actually, it's a big part of self-esteem. There's all that stuff as well, because no one's looking at you, really. But it's time to get changed and time to make our way back to Sapporo. And this is all I have to dry myself. Yeah, great. But I feel amazing. Proper zen. I was just about to round everything up really and sort of just finish with me nibbling on this like Wagyu beef fritter thing that was so nice, and it's literally just been gobbled out my hand by a crow. That was worse than any seagull I've experienced at Brighton or Blackpool. That was mental. I kid you not. Anyway, I've managed to get a little bit of footage of him nibbling on it, so you can have a look at it. You little crap. What's he eating? A bit of Wagyu beef. That's meant to be mine. You absolute flipping beast of a thing, wasn't it? Literally showed no remorse, no care whatsoever, and was just absolutely wetting itself. And what made it funnier was there were some people walking up as well, and they saw it and were absolutely wetting themselves, and I bricked it because it just came from behind. There was no there was no warning on that. That was mental, and it was so nice as well. Like, honestly, that was like one of the nicest things I've had here. Oh, fuming. Ignoring the crow, we've had an absolutely smashing time here at Lake Shikotsu. It's been absolutely buzzing. Some jaw-dropping scenery, some unbelievably clear water, and we got naked and did an onsen. I've been wanting to do that, and I'm glad I had the balls to go and do it. But right, there's plenty more to come. With confidence riding high, I fancied a few solo beers. This led to some charming Beatles renditions. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. And also some drunk Insta ramblings. Make sure you follow up live updates on the trip over on Instagram. Nevertheless, we got up early and set off to find some fishing that Yuji from last night had tipped me off to. I hopped on the train and probably had one of the coolest journeys, taking in the wild and windy Sea of Japan. He recommended I head over to Otaru, which is 40 kilometres north of Sapporo, which took roughly 30 minutes to get to. Safe to say, the weather was horrendous and the possibility of fishing was looking pretty slim. The side of travelling they never show you. Oh my god, I'm getting battered by the snow. I've been taken down to a little bit of a weird route from Google Maps, and I'm struggling here. Look at the snow, it's straight in my face. I'm absolutely getting hammered here. This is horrible. All I wanted to do was have a quick throw and look at me. Oh, this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. I'm absolutely lost as well. I don't even know. I can't see in front of me. The snow keeps banging me. After a severe battering from the wind and snow, we headed into the town centre to see what the crack was about and to try and take some shelter, to be honest. Otaru has seen settlers reside there since the late 1500s. Annexed in the mid-19th century by Japan, it became a central hub for finance across Hokkaido. However, its key exports are centred around glass, music boxes, and of course, fish. We had an insanely nice peach-flavoured drink and went to see what fishy things were going on. Smoked chum salmon hung from the various smokehouses, and cooked-to-order restaurants were commonplace on the main high street, and of course, sushi restaurants were everywhere. Never mind those huge crabs, I went for a sweeter intro to some traditional Japanese food and treated myself to some green tea rice cakes. Safe to say, that was the worst thing I have ever tasted. Texture to flavour, it was horrendous. Freaking woman sick. I then snapped a quick pic with this guy holding a salmon, well to the amusement of a large group of Japanese tourists, before heading across town for, you guessed it, more ramen. This restaurant had the classic Japanese sit-on-the-floor eating arrangement, but unfortunately, as I was flying solo, I had to watch with envy as people sat cross-legged. The ramen was bang on. I went for soy flavour this time, which was a nice treat, before getting the slow train home back to Sapporo. I really wanted to take in the wild weather from the comfort of a train window, and watching the waves crash in felt like a great end to a failed fishing trip. Sapporo felt like tropical bliss compared to Otaru. The skyscrapers and high-rises make such a difference with regards to the wind. As such, I took a slow walk back to the apartment and had a quiet night in after a manic few days.
The land of the rising sun, eh? It's not bad, is it? However, where's the sun?
Well, I've ran up to the top of the ski jump where we were at the start to watch the sunrise, and I sort of missed it. Bit of a shocker, but it's not the biggest shocker we've had this morning. I woke up to an email saying the main fishing event of this episode has now been cancelled. We were meant to be going ice fishing today. It's a bit of a bucket list activity for me. I always wanted to do it, and we're only going to be catching smelts that are probably about that big. But it would have just been so cool. But it's out of my control, there's not much I can do, so apologies for that. It could be a lot worse, we could have gone fishing in some right dives, but we haven't. We've got in an absolutely belting place. Have to say, I have loved Hokkaido. What an amazing island this is, and a proper good introduction to Japan as well. The next stop's Tokyo, and I really think that's going to be a serious culture shock. 14 million people in one city. Definitely one of the biggest cities in the world. I'm very excited to go and explore it. We also have some really serious fishing planned when we're in Tokyo, so I promise you there's going to be a hell of a lot more fish, because that has been the only downside with Hokkaido here. the weather has really prevented us hitting the fish. Anyway folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have making it. Again, apologies for the lack of content over the last few weeks. Just had loads going on, and when I have been fishing, it's been for an hour here, an hour there, and I've not really given it the time and attention it deserves. Over the next 5 weeks, we're going hell for leather on this. I've done so much work, so much preparation in order to go on this trip. So I'm really hoping to pull together an absolutely awesome series of videos. Thanks for watching, guys. I promise you, we're going to catch a few fish on this trip. It won't just be me naked in onsens. It's going to be a lot more than that. Tight lines, folks. Keep bloody fishing.